Welcome to What's That Pen? Helping you find your next perfect pen. And today we are talking about a pen that, I feel like I'm giving away the ending, but a pen that I love. It is the Pentel Sign Pen with flexible tip. And this is so easily confused with the Pentel Sign Pen with the fine tip, which is just a bullet tip, whereas the flexible tip has a brush tip. Super confusing because the pens look the same from the outside and they also have almost identical packaging. Extra confusing because fine tip and flexible tip both start with F, so they put a little F on their box for both of them. Super confusing. Underneath, the fine tip will have a little straight line. The flexible tip has one that shows some width difference in the line. But when you're looking it up, if you are Googling or on Amazon, type in Pentel Sign Pen Brush Flexible Tip, and you should get to the right one, or you can always use the link down below, and that'll get you to the right one for sure. So the Pentel Sign Pen comes in either a pack of 12 or you can get individual black or blue pens, but the pack of 12 has a whole series of really, really nice vibrant colors. So I would say that it's a good option. It costs just over $21, which is about $1.70 per pen. And I would say that I've had these pens for a very, very long time. They still work really well. They still look just like they used to, and the nibs have not frayed. So $1.70 is worth it. Now, for ink type, these are a water-based ink, which means that they will smear if you get them wet, but they're also really nice because you can dip them in water to dilute the color, and then the color will end up coming back towards the end, so you can go from light to dark, or you can dip them into like a watercolor, like the Ecoline liquid watercolor, and get a lovely blend from whatever color you dip it into to the original color of the marker, and it doesn't ruin your marker. Bonus. Now, not sure if these are acid-free. That's a very good question. But for the tip, they have a brush tip, but it is actually a nylon tip, which is why it doesn't fray. So nylon nib, and it's a brush nib because it is flexible. For this pen, you can get your thin upstrokes, and they're quite thin, and thick downstrokes, and you might notice that the thick downstroke is really quite consistent on the way down, and the thin upstroke is quite consistent on the way up, even though I'm going too fast. I should not be going that fast. There is quite a dramatic difference, too, in size between the upstrokes and downstrokes, which is really nice for getting dramatic contrast in your lettering. It's so important to be able to have those two sizes. For the ink quality, the ink colors are very, very saturated. They are bright and they pop off the page. Let's look at the nib rebound. So doing pressure, and I can tell this is actually one of my oldest pens, pressure on the one side, and then looking at the tip, there's a little bit of flex, but it comes back pretty quickly. So this one has about an average flex. And when I say this is one of my oldest pens, this pen is 5 years old. That's how old it is. And while I don't use it all the time, the fact that after 5 years, it still has color left in it and it still gives downstrokes and upstrokes is pretty good. Now, I am not a big fan of orange, but I have to say that this pen has the most gorgeous orange color that I have ever seen in my life for a pen. And the writing size that you can do with these is relatively small. Small, or I guess medium if you have a bit of a heavy hand, but it's more to the small or medium size, more small than medium. And they are nice and juicy, meaning that they get beautiful color down on your page, but they don't have a lot of smear. So it's not extra ink going down onto the page. So it's regular juiciness in that the color is super vibrant, but it's not extra smear worthy. Let's look at the transition from the upstroke to the downstroke and back again. Upstroke to downstroke and back again. Upstroke to downstroke and back again. And you'll see one of the strengths of this pen is the ability to get to a very, very fine upstroke, but that the upstroke isn't so fine that you lose the beautiful color. If the upstroke is too thin, then the color is only really seen in the downstrokes and doesn't get balanced out by the upstrokes. So that's why this is almost the perfect amount of flex between the downstroke and upstroke, and still the perfect softness on the tip of the pen to get beautiful upstrokes that still show off the bright saturated color of these pens. So the ease of transition, I was going pretty quick and it was still super easy to do. They are 100% a yay. They might even be a little over the top yay because they're that good. So let's look at the pros of these pens. Well, I would say that pro number one is that these pens are 5 years old and still kicking. They cost about $1.70 per pen, which is about an average cost, and they also have average rebound. I guess those are sort of middle of the road things, but they have that nylon nib. None of these pens have frayed on me. When I'm using them, the thing that'll run out first is the ink. It's never that the tip goes bad. So that is huge. I would much rather that my pen run out of ink like a normal pen would than the tip of it get ruined so I can't use up all of the ink that's inside. The downstrokes and upstrokes are really quite easy to control with this pen. So this is wonderful if you are a beginner, and it's wonderful if you're even past being a beginner because you don't have to focus nearly as much. The pen really helps you out. It's like using the iPad and turning up your smooth tool, but in a pen. Well, they're super saturated. The fact that there was no smear means that these are probably a really good choice for a left-handed person or someone who is going to be putting their hand back onto the page. Remember though, you probably want to still be protecting your hand by putting down a little piece of paper so that you can't smear or make your hand a huge mess. The ease of transition was super great. It was so easy to go from the upstroke to downstroke and then back up to a really crisp upstroke. The other thing you'll notice about that transition is that the upstroke starting and the upstroke returning were the same. That means that the pen has popped back and it was easy to get back to that original upstroke width. Now, the other thing that I really love about these pens is that the colors are very, very vibrant. They are bright, they show up really, really well on your page, and you can actually make use of every single one of the colors in the set because every one of them looks just as good on paper as you would expect. For the downsides of these, I mean, they're not free. They're still $1.70 per pen, so you are investing, but the fact that you know that they are going to last you for quite a while can make that investment worth it. I would say that another potential downside is that they are only small. I wish that they had these in a slightly larger size as well for if you're doing something larger than just on a regular piece of paper. But for something that you want to write, maybe even a 5x7 that you have designed that you want to put up on your wall, these would be the perfect brush pen, not only to fit that size, but also to be able to add color to that size. And it can be hard to find beautifully colored, small brush pens. These are definitely, hands down, a pen that I think you should add to your pen collection. Remember, if you have a pen that you want me to review, even if it's one you have and you want to see what I think of it, put that in the comments down below, and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on a single one of these pen reviews so that you can pick the next perfect pen for you and avoid a dud.